This book was published in August 1996, which is the 10-year anniversary of the Babysitters Club series. Maybe it's just me, but I can't believe they didn't save the big book number 100 for the 10-year anniversary. It wouldn't have been too hard to make that magic happen. All they had to do was delay one of the super specials for 2 months. Argo Font Book Review, Argo Font Book Review. This book was written by Suzanne Wein. Stacey and Robert play tennis together when Andi Gentile tries talking to them. Not only is Andi one of the bad girls, but Robert smiles at her as if he likes her. Robert, how could you? Stacey fakes being tired to get out of the situation. She and Robert go home, where they play a computer game called Marvel in the Mist for 3.5 hours. Gosh, if I had a girlfriend in middle school who invited me to play video games all day, I would never break her heart like Robert does. Stacey is invited to babysit in New York for a week for the adorable Walker kids. Their parents have an art gallery showing to prepare for. Kristy will also be gone that week. She asks Marianne to fill in for her as club president because Marianne is the most organized. Abby argues that's totally unfair. As the alternate officer, Abby should fill in for the missing members. I would personally have Claudia as temporary president and Abby as temporary treasurer, but Abby argues her way into taking over both jobs. Kristy isn't happy about this, but that's what she gets for not establishing a proper chain of command. It's unlike Kristy to not have this stuff figured out years in advance. Like, what if there's a plague and half the club members die and people need babysitters? What's she gonna do then? Stacey has fashion drama, and Robert claims he's going to play basketball with the guys all day. When Stacey checks with the guys, they say Robert never showed up, he had other plans. What's going on? Abby runs her first club meeting. She doesn't get mad at Mallory for being 2 minutes late, and she announces that club notebook entries are now optional. Just like that, Abby goes from second worst club member to best club member ever. Abby will bike to club meetings instead of paying Kristy's brother Charlie to drive her. I had no idea that was an option. Kristy always made it seem like driving was the only way she could get to Claudia's house. Kristy loves sports so much you'd think she would bike if she could. Abby's last idea is to suspend club dues for a week, mainly because she's lazy and can't be bothered to do math. Oh. Well, her other ideas are all pretty good. I'd vote for her. Abby's hostile takeover of the Babysitters Club includes putting on a big fiesta-style carnival as a charity fundraiser for a Mexican orphanage. She makes piñatas with a bunch of kids. Predictably, it's disorganized and the kids make messes. When Marnie Barrett disappears, the babysitters panic that they lost a child until they learn she was under a piñata. Claudia and Marianne talk privately and decide Abby is incompetent. Kristy wouldn't have done a project with too many kids. Kristy would have kept them organized. You could probably guess where the book is going with the Abby in charge storyline. Stacey learns that Robert was seen going out with another girl. This prompts a hilarious chapter where Stacey and Claudia try to spy on Robert. Robert gets 2 movie tickets. Stacey assumes he's taking his secret girlfriend to the action movie, but no, Robert is going to a romance movie with his buddy Pete. Oh, those middle school boys and their secret romance movie dates. Robert is evasive about his plans that night, both before and after the fact. He gives Stacey flowers as she leaves for New York. Here's how she describes going through the train tunnel to New York City.
Something inside me changed, just as it always does when I enter that tunnel. My city self takes over. I feel faster, more sophisticated. In some ways, I even feel smarter.
It sounds like the New York train tunnel has turned Stacey bionic. Abby has another disaster when she makes signs for the carnival. She doesn't know what should go on the signs because she doesn't have a time or place figured out yet. The kids make a bunch of terrible signs, and Abby forces everyone else to pay for the supplies she bought. I can't tell if Abby is incompetent or if she's a thoughtless jerk. Stacey and Dad go to the art museum where they have a fight. He thinks she's too young to date one guy exclusively. Stacey overreacts because she knows there's something wrong with her relationship. She throws a mini tantrum saying she and Robert are perfect together. Stacey and Dad are pretty upset, but they're New Yorkers, and New Yorkers are famously non-confrontational, so they don't talk about the issue. Instead, they let it linger like an old sub sandwich. Stacey babysits the Walkers, and she meets a gorgeous 15-year-old named Ethan. He's great to be around, and Stacey is so excited about Ethan, she tells her friends and family all about him. Stacey's broken heart. More like Stacey has a hot new guy waiting in the wings before she dumps Robert. Stacey goes on multiple day trips with the kids and Ethan. Claudia calls with the bad news that Robert went on a date with Andi. They kissed each other in public. Stacey is heartbroken, angry, crying. She tries calling Robert, but she's so overcome with emotion that she can't talk. Ethan tries to cheer Stacey up because he's so nice. She has a great time at the gallery opening. Ethan is so wonderful, she forgets all about Robert. Abby's fiesta is almost a disaster because kids show up early and there aren't enough people to run the booths. The other babysitters say Kristy would have gotten the time right. Kristy would have gotten enough volunteers. They scramble to get everything done in time, and although it's a success, Abby learns her lesson. She can't be as good as Kristy. No one can be as good as Kristy. Stacey says goodbye to everyone and exchanges phone numbers with Ethan. She goes home and meets with Andi. Stacey's way nicer to Andi here than she was at the start of the book. Then she confronts Robert over how he lied to her. Robert says he lied because he didn't want to upset her unnecessarily. Not unless he knew for sure that what he had with Andi was real. That is a crap explanation, Robert. You cheated on Stacey. That's wrong. End of story. It doesn't matter how successful your cheating was. What's going to stop him from cheating on Andi? Probably nothing. Robert hopes they can still be friends, and even though Stacey is heartbroken, she's happy because she likes herself. The end. Post-book follow-up. This is a good book. My first impression was that it's a generic breakup book, but there's a lot of thought put into it. Stacey's feelings and emotions are heartfelt, and they're at the core of the story. The plotting is good. There's a decent variety of scenes and characters. It always feels like the story is progressing. 2 books ago, the story came to a grinding halt when the narrator went out of state. It's so much better here, where the story keeps going, even though Stacey is far away from Robert. Abby's subplot was well plotted too. It has a distinct beginning, middle, and end. It's not just 3 chapters of semi-related babysitting, which we've seen in so many other books. I especially like how Abby addressed problems I have with the club, like writing out unnecessary club entries in the notebook, and how it's weird that the president's villain is the alternate officer, not the VP. Overall, I loved this book. It was great, and I'd be tempted to give it a perfect score if I was in a better mood today. Some people didn't like how Robert becomes a scumbag, but he was always my least favorite out of the babysitter's boyfriends, so I don't mind seeing him get the boot. I give Babysitter's Club number 99, Stacey's Broken Heart, a 9 out of 10.